Welcome to this field in the beautiful Lancashire countryside near Pendle. What I'd like to talk to you about this afternoon is belief systems. What I've experienced in my life is a shattering of pretty much every single belief system I've ever held. And I find that the more the belief systems that I have, that I let go of, that I see crumble into dust in front of my eyes, the better life gets. And in the last week I've had so many belief systems coming crashing to the ground that I'm almost reeling from it, and it's a great feeling, very challenging. So I'd like to talk to you about some of my belief systems and how they are just disintegrated into dust. And I'd like to begin with something that David Icke points out, which is that we tend to look at ourselves as being, this is me, and this is the world, and this is reality, and I'm in reality. And then along comes David Icke and says, no, not at all actually. Everything you see outside of yourself is actually your internal projection of your own internal universe. So in fact, there isn't anything objective out there at all. There isn't anything real out there. Everything that exists out there is actually what's inside you. Now that was a big one for me to have one of my big belief systems turned upside down, because I've been brought up like everyone to believe that everything out there is real and that's it. And hey, hang on, no, it's all a projection of what's inside me. So if I'm having a beautiful time, that's a reflection of what's going on in me. If I'm having a hell of a time, that's a reflection of what's going on in me. So this is where it's all leading to. There's one particular belief system that I want to talk about, which is very dear to my heart, and it's to do with healing. And this is going to be a two-part session, so at the end of a certain part of this, I'm going to stop, and then we'll take it to the next stage in the second part. Now, my belief system about being a healer, that I have picked up from all the healing I've ever received from people. I've received a lot of healing from many different people in my life, and from the healing I've been given to people. This is what I've believed. What I used to believe is that people had things wrong with them and they needed to go to healers to get healed, and then when they got healed they were cured. It's a pretty conventional view. When people have something wrong with them, they can go to the doctor, or they go to the healer, or the shaman, or the herbalist, or the osteopath, or whoever they go to, but they go because there's something wrong. Something gets done and they get cured. In the last week to 10 days I've had that belief system crumble into dust in front of my eyes, and I'm left now with a completely different view. This view comes from a lineage of Hawaiian shamanism, and it's called Ho'oponopono. Now, the idea behind Ho'oponopono is deeply ingrained in the psyche of the Hawaiians, and I suggest this to you. Go on the computer and look up the word Hawaii and find out what the word actually means. If you do your own research on that, you'll find something pretty interesting about that word Hawaii. So Ho'oponopono is a very particular form of Hawaiian shamanism, and it ties into the cultural beliefs of the people. Now, recently we've had a really big oil spill in Mexico, and the company involved is BP. A lot of people have been shocked and upset by this, and I think quite a common reaction would be, oh, how terrible, that's not in my backyard, what can I do about it? Then along come the Hawaiians with their view. This is the Hawaiian view. There's been an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. That is 100% my responsibility. I'm completely responsible for that. Take another example. Someone is suffering from an illness. Maybe a friend or a relative gets cancer. The Hawaiian view is, I'm 100% responsible for that. I need to do something about that. So it's an oil spill or it's an illness. I need to do something about it. I'm responsible. It's my responsibility. It's not anybody else's, it's mine. So if any client comes to me, it's my responsibility. And that makes complete sense to me. But it's still a shattering of the way that I've been brought up with regard to healing. So if it's my responsibility, I need to do something about it, then the obvious question is, what do I need to do? And I'll come to that in a minute. But let's just take a little bit longer about this situation. Here's the next bit of belief system shattering that went on for me. I get the idea about I'm 100% responsible for all illnesses and all disasters everywhere, yeah, that's the first point. And here's the second point. Nobody needs any healing because we're all perfect. We're all absolutely fine just as we are. Hang on a minute. Well, why have I gone to many healers in my life? Why have many people come to me for healing in my life? What's that about? So now we start to go a bit deeper with all this. If everything that happens is my responsibility, and if everyone is perfect, including me, and nobody needs any healing, what's going on? We come to the third part of it now. What the Hawaiian shamans say is they say it's nothing to do with anything being wrong with anyone, it's to do with a habit, and the habit is negative thoughts. And so all of Hawaiian shamanism is based upon the idea of dealing with and transforming negative thoughts. Now, I don't know about you, but not a day goes by without some negative thought entering my head at some point in the day. And it's been like that all my life. I might suddenly feel insecure, I might suddenly judge something I've done as not being good enough, or I might see someone out in the street, I might make a judgment about them, because I might feel uncomfortable about them. Every day, in some way or another, I'll have a negative thought. Now this is what the Hawaiians have worked out. They've worked out this. If everybody has negative thoughts, imagine what that's doing all over the world. We've got this session that we've already done about the power of the word, and we can see how the power of the word makes a crucial difference to everybody's lives. If you spend every day thinking that you are worthless, eventually you convince yourself that you're worthless. If you spend every day convincing yourself you've got a terrible disease, eventually you end up with a terrible disease. So you can see how the power of the word works in a negative way, and in a positive way, well, we know that if you have confidence, then you can achieve all sorts of things, because your positive power of the word, your thoughts, are actually helping you. They're building you up. They're giving you a springboard from which to become a successful human being doing what you want to do. So here it comes, here it comes. What they suggest that we do is they suggest that we accept that we experience negative thoughts. They're not ours, because we're perfect, but they do pass through us. And if we get attached to them, if we allow them to get their hooks into us, then they can start repeating. And if they start to repeat and repeat and repeat, that's when we start to get problems. So they've got an answer to this, and their answer is to clean all negative thoughts. Now this is how they suggest to clean all negative thoughts. I love the Hawaiians because they're a beautiful people. I've never been there, but I've seen enough about Hawaii on films, on the internet, pictures. I've heard people have been there, and this is what I pick up. It's a beautiful place, beautiful islands, lovely weather, wonderful vegetables, great natural scenery, lovely people, enjoying having a good time, lots of fun, laid back attitude to life. Sounds pretty enviable, doesn't it? Now, add to that their philosophy of being 100% responsible for everything. What a challenging idea. Now, add again to that the idea of taking 100% responsibility for the thoughts that pass through you. They're not yours, but you take responsibility for things that are passing through you, and then what you do is you clean them. And because they're Hawaiians, they don't come up with anything complicated, they make it really simple. They bring it down to 4 sentences. That's all. Only 4 sentences. All you've got to do is to remember these 4 sentences,